Illinois!
Hello, everyone. Welcome inside another fun-filled edition of the Wrap-Up. Dan Myers, Nick Buckler with you, as always, in this now, our Kyle Quincy, Aaron Ward edition of the Wrap-Up. However, maybe not so much an Aaron Ward right now. He's into it with the law. We're not going to talk about that. 27. Happy 27th birthday week, that is, for the Wrap-Up. We're going to jump right into it with some heartbreak if you're a Michigan fan and some triumph if you're a Michigan State fan. Me and Dan here, well, it's Heartbreak Hotel. Michigan drops a heartbreaker to number 4, Michigan State, and 27-23, and we all know where you were when that tragedy struck at the Big House with Blake
O'Neal. Yeah,
he's
right.
facing some scrutiny from a bunch of people who probably have nothing to do with the school. Death threats. I think the kid had an 80-yard punt before his mistake. If you didn't know, here it is. He takes the snap. It's a little bit low. Pretty much panics when he doesn't catch it correctly. And he told Harbaugh after the game he still thought that he had a chance to get the kickoff, which, let's be honest, there were 7 guys all over him. Smart play would have been maybe to just fall on it. Maybe they shouldn't have gone. Maybe they shouldn't have punted. Maybe they should have gotten a first down to begin with. Or what have you. End of the story. Michigan State picks it up, takes it to the house, at the Big House, and celebrates to a 4-point victory.
Yeah, it's, for anyone who's ever played football before, that game is incredibly fast. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight what I should have done, what it could have been done, but those guys are coming at you so quickly, and it was just, you panic. And, he's in college, but he's not perfect. He's not in the pros. He's not making money, so, you're going to make mistakes. Granted, after, that 80-yard kick that he had, it's every play is a new situation. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but what disappointment. The best way I could describe it, it was like just watching your pet get hit by a car. You were just so excited, and then just wow, what was going on? So yeah, just utter shock. I can't even describe.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah.
We were sitting there at a local establishment, having some ginger ales, watching the game, and all of a sudden, I did say, my buddies and I were there, and we said, we're not safe. We don't feel comfortable with a 23-21 lead and 10 seconds left and the ball, punting. Something's going to happen. We've been Lions fans too long. We've been let down by so much for so long. It's just the Detroit fan, it's tough to have confidence. And sure enough, they're oh, hey, little buddy, it's like dangling a couple dollars in front of your little kid. No, cost you $1. Oh, you got to be a little quicker than that. It was just sad.
Normally I'm a cup half full person, but it was just going so good. It was an instant classic. Whether you like Michigan or you like Michigan State, that's one game we'll be talking about for easily the next 30 years. It was a great game, but just the way they were leading Michigan was leading the whole time. I'm like, you know what? You watch. It's going to come down to the last 30 seconds, especially being a Lions fan. We're well aware of how disappointment is.
Oh, it tastes so bad.
Yeah, it came down to the last second, and they stole it. I have text message proof that I was convinced that, it's going to come down to the last second, and we might be disappointed. But like I said, it was an instant classic, and we'll be watching that game on, ESPN Classics or Big Ten Classics for the next 30 years.
I don't think I'll be ever watching it again.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's like the 09 Stanley Cup playoffs. You won't watch it again, but it's there.
09, that one still stings when Lidstrom hit the post. 2 seconds left, but we're not talking about that. Let's go back to the Big House on Saturday. I don't know if you saw the WZZM news feed after the game, the Grand Rapids newscast.
Yes.
Apparently, they left the game a little bit early, and we can feel for them in the industry. They had to go set up their live shot, and they left. Michigan was about to punt with 10 seconds left. They peace out, see ya. And they go to set up their live shot, and they go live. And their reporter says something along the lines of, it was a great game, defensive showdown, but Michigan was too much for State to handle, and they hold on to ice the clock and win the game. And he was 100% certain Michigan had the game won. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If you leave before the game is over, at least go on your phone and check the final score to make sure you don't look dumb like you did. And then they cut back to the studio, and their guy's like, hey, that was our bad. And it goes back to the reporter, and he's just doing one of these.
Yeah.
Nothing. And, well, I think it's a message for a lot of people to say, all right, we're just going to double check from now on. That was funny, but from a game standpoint, Michigan played winning football. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year Michigan would be 5-2 and had that crazy game against State, I would take it 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But I think you're kind of getting greedy. 3 shutouts in a row, setting school records. The defense has been so good. The offense has started to wake up. And now you're to the point where, okay, here we go. We have this game. And then it's just suddenly taken from you. So as a Michigan fan, it stings, but you still have to look at the outcome, the positive, the future. Let's be honest, Michigan could play some good football and finish 9-3 if their only losses to Ohio State. And I think they're at home. They have a chance. Ohio State has not looked solid this year, although they are the #1 team in the country. Maybe they're just playing with teams. They're not trying to show all their tricks. However, Michigan, they're going to play a New Year's Day bowl game.
Yeah, they will. And 3 things. One is anytime I'm at a sporting event, let alone being at a place as historic as the Big House, whether it's a Wings game, a Michigan game, what have you, I stay to the whole game because of exact examples of what happened last Saturday. And plus, it's a sporting event. You got, I mean, unless you're, well, I guess you say unless you're at a Lions game and they're getting blown out. Yeah, that's probably the only acceptable time in my eyes that it's okay to leave the game. But you stay for the whole game. It's like going to a concert and not watching, the encore. Just to me, it just doesn't make sense. But whatever.
Or leaving before the headliner even hits the stage.
Exactly.
I know some people like that. Hey, if you're watching, sorry.
But another thing is, this game was Michigan State's to lose. Let's be honest. I mean, as far as how Michigan was going in their season, what everyone expected as compared to what actually happened, it was terrific. The fact that you would have told us at the beginning of the season, there's going to be a fighting chance that Michigan could pull an upset. No, I wouldn't have believed that. Betting man wouldn't. But it was incredible. But I really feel that at the end of the day, Michigan actually won the game just because of look how Michigan State was ranked. Granted, whether you agree with their schedule or not and how they're ranked, but they beat a ranked team, a top 10 team, and that's incredible. Yeah, we'll see how Michigan State, if they can pull it together. They have to. The games that they've been winning, it's too close, and they really got to step it up. I really felt that Connor Cook really wasn't the champion last weekend. It really was.
He hasn't been all year.
No, not at all. It was Aaron Burbridge was the most valuable player in my eyes.
And he had a tough match. He had to go up against Jordan Lewis, who arguably could be an All-American corner this year. And that was just a battle all game. Burbridge against Lewis. Yeah. Burbridge still had, 140-some yards?
That's incredible,
9 catches, but it could have been way more. Mm-hmm. Some of the throws weren't properly executed. There's some good defensive plays by Lewis. Both players they're some of the nation's best, receiver and corner, that is, as well. And Michigan State, they got to win because one loss for them, and the voters who are voting this AP poll and the former what was known as the BCS, that they're not high on Michigan State because they've been winning and they've been dropping in the rankings every week. Yeah. Wait till a loss. They're going to be right out of the playoff picture, so they got to win out. And that Ohio State game coming up in a few weeks is going to be nuts, and it's going to be one of the Big Ten's greatest games of the year if we already didn't see one last weekend.
Right. Yep. And, for Michigan, they got the bye week this week, and then they have Minnesota, I believe.
Yep. I feel bad for Minnesota. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
Michigan's an angry team. They got that game stripped out of their hands. Harbaugh's going to have that team amped, and it could be an ugly one.
Yeah, it could be. But, if it was any other coach, I would say, it's going to be a tough game for Michigan. But you got Jim Harbaugh in your corner. It's going to be a tough week for them to keep seeing these replays and stuff of the game, and you just keep the TV off, guys, if you're listening. But you gotta keep your heads up. You guys led that game, and you just shake it off, get it going, and show the Big Ten what you're made of, and just destroy Minnesota next week.
I think I've used this analogy before, but Taylor Swift says it best.
She does.
Gotta shake it off. And you know who did shake it off? The Detroit Lions. Forward down the field. They win in overtime. It was not pretty. Neither team was good. Neither team is good. Neither quarterback's good. Neither team's good. Neither fan base is good. Neither city's good. It's a bad game all around. But who wins? Your Detroit Lions. 37-34 overtime victory. Matthew Stafford, 4 touchdowns. Didn't look good doing it. 405 yards. Dan, it was ugly. He did throw an interception. It was one of his little sidearm to no one throws, and they got back when it counted to doing what they did in years past that made them a successful team, and that's throw the ball down the field to your best receiver. Calvin Johnson had 2 40-plus yard catches. He had a touchdown. They were throwing him jump balls. They were throwing it down the field. Nobody can guard Calvin Johnson one-on-one. I don't know why it took him till week 6 to figure that out. They've had him for, 8 years now, and they still can't figure this out. You could have the worst quarterback, which they do, and still get the play to work. And we saw that Sunday. Now, they go up 34-31 late with a touchdown. And crowd's hype. And they kick the ball off with, I believe, 30-some-odd seconds left in the game. And 3 plays later, oh, look, there's a field goal. We're going to overtime.
We got a tie game.
And I was there. I did not wear any Lions gear, by the way. I want to throw that out. I'm not going to support them until they put a product on the field. I represented a team that represents our city. Those are the Detroit Red Wings. I wore my Henrik Zetterberg jersey down to Ford Field. Got some compliments, no negative comments either. Just wanted to throw that out there. Go back to the game now. And it went to overtime. You didn't have a good feeling. Everyone was like, oh, it was a great game. Okay, tell me how it was great. Both teams tried to lose the game. Neither team played good. It was not a great game. Was it entertaining? Sure, maybe. It's not a great game. Sure, it was cool. The Lions finally won. They're 1-5. There was a guy I saw with a Roy Williams jersey. He wears number 11, and next to his 11 he had a -5, meaning the Lions are going to go 11-5 and win out.
You're never short of entertainment when you go there.
He had a few too many $9 beers, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And it was not. It was right. Did you see the video with Lions superfan and Detroit Don?
Yes,
They
I
got
did.
kicked out of the game for cheering on defense. Come on, guys. Let's be honest. There was something. I heard that they actually got into it with some Bears fans, and all of a sudden, the superfan has shoulder pads, a lion head, aviator sunglasses, painted face, full armor, and a tattoo with his section, seat number, and row. 140, row 5, seat 5. And his boy, Detroit Don, right next to him with his bandana on. They claim that they will never go back to Ford Field. Dude, you got your seat tattooed.
You're going back to Ford
I'll see you
Field.
next week against the Vikings when Adrian Peterson runs all over him. It was a funny video. If you haven't seen it, we're not going to air it on here because we can't. But it's comical. Sorry, superfan and Detroit Don. It's funny. Injuries on defense. Mm-hmm. The Lions have battled injuries all year. There's a difference between same old Lions or the Lion way, the Lions luck.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Same old Lions is doing something on the field that makes your team terrible. For me, that's showing up. Lions luck is what's happening with DeAndre Levy. Injured on some fluke play in practice, his hip injury, comes back for a half against last week against Arizona, and then now he's out for the year.
Yep.
He will have surgery. That's Lions luck. Tyron Walker, Seattle game, blows out his leg, out for the year. James Jones leaves the game this Sunday against Chicago with a neck injury. Questionable to ever come back. Haloti Ngata didn't play again. Questionable when his return is, undisclosed. It's just the same Lions luck or same old Lions on the Stephen Tulloch last year when he sacks Aaron Rodgers, does the double check, and tears his ACL. To me, that's same old Lions because he was being stupid.
Yeah.
You get your sack, do your little, and then go, you didn't win anything. That's what I didn't like. I don't know if you saw it. I'm going to switch gears here kind of to the ALDS. The game against Game 5, Texas, Toronto. Crazy game. Benches cleared twice. The 7th inning took 53 minutes to play. And Jose Bautista did the bat flip of the century. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes. Yep.
To me, That's childish, and he shouldn't have done it. What did you win, Jose? Nothing. You go up by 1 run in the 7th inning of the first round of the playoffs. You didn't win the World Series. You didn't win the pennant. What are you doing this for? If I was a pitcher, I would have thrown at him.
Yeah.
When he's still running the bases, I would take my cleat off, fired it at him. Have some respect for the game. Not only the opponents, not only the players, not only anything. The game. You're not respecting the game. And let me tell you, it's making you a fine living, my friend. It just stuff like that irritates me.
Yeah, it wasn't too classy of a move to do. You can get caught up in the moment, but had that just been a regular season game, I'm sure the outcome would have been a lot different. Unfortunately, you don't want to press your luck too much, especially if the luck's not that good and you're the pitcher and you just give up something like that. But yeah, it definitely would have been a different situation had it been the regular season and there wasn't really the postseason on the line. So yeah, I really thought it was kind of classless. I mean, unless he's playing for your team, I think every other. Even that would be kind of hard to swallow.
I'd be like, yeah, all right, Bautista, good job.
Yeah.
But come on.
Yeah, there was no need for it. It got people talking, I guess. And aside from the whole Cubs situation with their drought, it really wasn't really making too many headlines here in Detroit. Obviously our Tiger team has a lot of rebuilding to do. So, I feel like it got a lot of press for baseball fans who don't have a team in the run right now. But
it made me rank the teams remaining. And it made Toronto be 4th out of 4 left.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm pulling for the Cubs. Back to the Future predicted the Cubs would win the World Series in 2015. Hey, there they are, your Chicago Cubs. Then the Mets come right after them. Whoever wins this NLCS series, it's been good so far. The Mets lead, however. I'm pulling for them. Then we shift to the American League, where as much as I don't want the Royals to win because we've seen them so much. Yeah. It's Kansas City. They beat the Tigers. Yada 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 yada. Okay, they're beating up the Toronto Blue Jays, and I love it. Hey, Bautista, where you flipping your bat now, son? What? No, you're not. Johnny Cueto's dreads are flipping you.
Yeah.
And you pitch great. And I'm hoping for a Cubs-Royals World Series and the Cubs to pull out on top. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. As long as Toronto doesn't win, I'm a happy guy.
Yep.
Can't have our Tigers do it, so what else are you going to ask for?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like you said, I'm pulling for it. I really want the Cubs to win. I mean, as a cursed franchise here in Detroit, we can really, feel for the Cubbies. But, should they not win, I do like the Mets. I like Harvey. Regardless of how you feel about him.
You got to like the hairpiece, man. Jacob deGrom, he's been money.
Yeah.
He's a freak. And who else has started their career as a freak? Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings.
Nice segue. I like that.
Thank you. The dude has a point in every game that he's played to start his NHL career. 19 years old from Waterford, Michigan. The kid means business. And that's weird that I'm saying a kid because the guy's 4 years younger than me. And what have I done with my life? Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? I'm playing beer leagues at Fraser.
But you're playing.
But I'm playing.
It makes you happy.
Leaving it all on the ice. I strap on that, lace them up every game. I'm ready.
Yep. Yeah.
Just like the Wings. They've lost 2 in a row now to Carolina and to Montreal. I'm not worried. I think this team, it's 5 games into the year. Jeff Blashill said he takes the year, 5 games at a time. And of a possible 10 points, if they get 6 points of a possible 10, they're happy. That's their goal. Maybe the standards are a little low, but think about it. You're going to go through some tough stretches where you're only going to get 4. You're going to go through some good where you might get 10.
Yep.
And I think this Red Wings team is a team that's gonna go far. But they're a better team than most people think. And I think with this youth that's added to the lineup, obviously Dylan Larkin, Justin Abdelkader's in a contract year. He's up there. And Henrik Zetterberg, a guy whose scoring was down last year, now leads the NHL in points. Through 5 games, he has 9 points. It's almost 2 points a game.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
Yeah.
He's back to being the leader he needs to be now on the ice as well as off the ice because we know he's a great leader. There's a goaltending controversy in Detroit. But it's a good controversy right now because both guys are playing really well. Sure, Friday's game against Carolina, 5 goals. But people are saying Jimmy Howard's fault. Where was the defense? I don't know. Jonathan Ericsson, to me, has been invisible this year. And he's a guy who on some teams would be a third-pair defenseman.
Right.
And on the Red Wings, he's the first pair with Cronwall. No, you got to have DeKeyser up there. You got to shake this up. Mike Green has not been good since coming over to Detroit. I do still think he's one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He'll right the ship. He's learning a new system, as are a lot of the guys here, because Blashill comes in. A lot of the younger guys know his system, but I think Mike Green will right the ship. Brad Richards will catch on. He started slow as well. And I just think that it's a good problem to have Jimmy Howard and Peter Mrazek battling it out. Jimmy played well in the win against Tampa at home. Maybe not his best game Friday, but not a bad game. Peter plays in Montreal. Questionable call, the first goal of the game, off the skate. Obviously, Kyle Quincy, well, he was a reason for that goal as well. Firing a slap shot off of the skate, and he kicked it in, whatever. We're not going to go through that. Peter's going to get another chance Wednesday in Edmonton. As the team travels to Western Canada, this is always a tough trip, but you kind of get to see what your team is made of away from their homes now for the first time this year for an extended period of time. This is their first road trip. Right. They've gone on the road for days and come right back. But this is their first trip. It's a 3-game trip, and it's going to go over 5 days, where they're in Edmonton on Wednesday, Calgary on Friday, Vancouver on Saturday night, part of a back-to-back. And those are always tough, so you're going to probably see one goalie play Friday, the other. I'm going to guess Jimmy Howard will play Friday. Peter will come back against Vancouver on Saturday because Mrazek's playing Wednesday and he played Saturday as well. But this is what you get to see your team, what they're made of.
Right.
You're going to mix in some guys. DeKeyser and Helm just came back. This is fun. Now the year's starting to go into full swing.
Right, yeah, and I think it's going to be an awesome matchup to see, two of the rookie poster childs for NHL go up against each other. You have the one, Connor McDavid, who is just, if you've been paying attention to the NHL, or at least the rookies, that's all you've heard about. But then again, you have Dylan Larkin, too, who's been just huge, and in my perspective right now is better than Connor McDavid just points-wise. But, yeah, that'll be great to see those two go at it. But, I feel Justin Abdicator said best. They had stretches of good play, but it wasn't long enough when they played Montreal. And Montreal's a red-hot team right now. They're 6-0. Brenny Gallagher had, obviously, Detroit's number. And what can you do? It's just, you got a young team. It's a new style of play. It's tougher, obviously. You're in the show. So I thought it was, a good game. It was a good gut check time, too, coming up with this road trip. We'll see what they're made of. But they got to get used to it. And going back to what you were saying about the goalie situation, the good thing is we have 2 young goalies. They don't have an ego. That's great. There's no bad blood, and I feel like each goalie's just pulling to make the team better, and they're going to be helping the team out if they know if they're not doing good, they're going to get pulled. But there's no bad blood, and that's what I like to see.
Okay, are you doing this on purpose, Dan? 2 Taylor Swift references in one show. Baby, now we got bad blood.
Oh, you picked that up.
What? Oh, I picked it up. You said it once, and then you repeated it again. Now I got real excited.
Yeah, so I'm going for 3. I'm going for that Taylor Swift hat trick. But yeah, I'm losing credibility as we speak. So I'm just going to stop with that and go back to hockey. Yeah, it'll be a good gut check time this weekend for the Wings, and especially the young guys. So we'll see how that goes.
A guy they're going to be without for this weekend, as well as probably the remainder of the year and maybe the rest of time. Johan Franzen, he has another setback, post-concussion syndrome. Who knows what that means? The guy just can't stay healthy, and for a health standpoint, I feel it's best maybe for him to hang it up and call it a career. When he was in his prime during the 07, 08, 09 playoffs, the guy was red hot. There was no answer for him. He had back-to-back hat tricks in the second round of 08 against Colorado. The guy was money, obviously. If we picked him over Marian Hossa to offer a contract too, maybe a mistake in hindsight, but at the time, it looked like the right thing to do. He's under contract for 5 more years. He signed a mammoth deal worth $43.5 million back then. And is it time to maybe buy him out, for him to call it a career, make a settlement here and there? I don't know, but it's going to give a young guy a chance. And Darren Helm slid into the lineup, so they didn't have to make a tough decision quite yet. They'll save that for when Pavel Datsyuk comes back. They'll have to either trade somebody or maybe put a guy on waivers like a Landon Ferraro or a Tomas Jurko. I think neither one of those guys has quite grasped the Red Wings' way, And it's really a shame with Tomas Jurko because he had so much upside and potential at the beginning of his career when he was coming up through Grand Rapids and juniors, and he never caught on, and I'm starting to think maybe his time's up.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Franzen, I think, for health reasons, you just hang it up. You're hurting your legacy that you left here. You're going to go out with a sour taste in your mouth. Just let it go. You got your money. That's great. But you just, leave whatever's left of your legacy intact as far as the Detroit, the Red Wings are concerned. So, it's going to be a tough to bite the bullet, but in the end, he'll be helping out the team, and more importantly, he'll be helping out himself. He's a family man. You just, hang it up. If you really feel compelled to be part of the organization, see what you can do in the upper offices. But it's probably about time for him to hang it up.
Yeah, I think coming back might be for him in his wildest dreams.
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift hat trick.
There you go.
Right there.
Nice.
Wildest
With the
dreams.
assist.
Yep. So collect those hats, send them to charity, and we'll let you know where they ended up next week on the wrap-up. For Dan Myers, I'm Nick Buckler. As always, thanks for watching.